Hello, everyone. Hi, guys. First of all, thank you so much to the TEDx NYU Shanghai team for all your hard work in organizing the salon. It's a great honor for me to be here to talk about what I have experienced in sustainability. And I'm so excited to share what I experienced. So my name is Emmanuel. I am from Indonesia and I am the founder of Boomi. Boomi is a Shanghai-based eco-friendly platform. We're home to around 35 plus local purpose-driven businesses covering all of your eco-friendly needs, information, and services. Boomi started around 2 years ago, and today I'm going to share with you my journey and what I saw in sustainability here in China. So before Boomi, I was never really known as the most sustainable person in the world. I went to college in Colgate University. I was in a very small town, only around 5,000 people actually. And we had one of the best tap waters in the US. But I was always persistent on buying bottled water. And it was only for the sole reason that I can put that bottle inside a fridge and have a cold drink every single day. That was it. And life just continued that way. And after I graduated from college, I majored in economics and Chinese. I had no job. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but all I knew was I wanted to go to China. I wanted to go to Shanghai. So this determination for Shanghai started back in 2016 when I had an opportunity to study abroad here in Shanghai in Donghua Dashi. It was at this time that I saw China after nearly 12, maybe 14 years. And it was also the first time I fell in love with Shanghai, of course. And from that day onwards, I didn't know what it was, but I just wanted to stay here in Shanghai. So I decided after I graduated from college, I would go to Shanghai. But before that, I visited my sister in Vancouver. She studies in UBC. And it was at this moment that I didn't realize that this was going to be the start of my journey in sustainability. When I visited her one night, I was just brushing my teeth just regularly with my super expensive top of the line Colgate plastic toothbrush, when all of a sudden I heard a little voice from behind me. The voice said, "Why are you still using a plastic toothbrush?" And I thought to myself, yeah, why am I still using a plastic toothbrush? I had a pretty good education. I was in America. I had access to a lot of different alternatives, but I was still persistent on using my plastic toothbrush. And after that encounter, my sister gave me one of the best lectures I've had in the past 4 years, a lecture on sustainability. But nothing really happened, so life continued. When I came to China, I arrived in September of 2018. I found myself in the need of a bamboo toothbrush. So I went on Taobao, I looked at all the different types of bamboo toothbrushes. And of course, there were many of them, round, square, whatever. And I just decided to just pick 3 of them. I didn't really know which one I wanted. And the next day, the products arrived. And to my surprise, these bamboo toothbrushes were packaged in plastic, wrapped in bubble wrap, packed inside a plastic bag, inside a box with a lot of tape, and inside one of those Quiety bags. And I thought to myself, that doesn't make sense at all. I was buying this bamboo toothbrush with a purpose to reduce my plastic waste, but in reality, my purchase actually made more waste. So me being my entrepreneurial self, I decided, why not? I'll just make my own bamboo toothbrush. So that was where Boomi started. We started as a bamboo toothbrush brand. But just like any business, all of them usually start with just a small idea. The 2 things I think that really affect business growth is 1, how big is your dream? And number 2 is whether or not you take action on those dreams. But taking action does not mean taking action blindly. Of course, I did my research. Of course, I analyzed the potential here in China. So I'm going to share with you a couple of information that I found around 2 years ago. The first thing I wanted to see was the potential. What is the potential of the sustainability industry here in China? How big is it? How old is it? In which part of the industry life cycle is it in? So This information comes from a very untrustworthy source that just shows how small the industry is and also how difficult it is to find information about sustainability here in China. In 2018, China's consumption of sustainable goods was estimated around 150 US dollars to 200 million US dollars. If you compare these numbers to a more mature market, for example, the US, according to Nielsen, the US's sustainability product market is expected to reach 150 billion US dollars by 2021. That's next year. That means that the US market is 1,000 times larger than China. To me, that just speaks potential. If China can become even 10% of what the US is, there's a lot of potential for me to grow there. But then that also got me thinking, but what are the people buying? What are the consumer habits? What are the behaviors towards sustainability? What are people spending on? So I did my research on 3 consumer groups. The first one is tier 1 to tier 2 city consumers. So people living in Shanghai, Beijing, Xi'an, those types of people. They account for roughly 31% of the national population, and they spend around 1.4 trillion US dollars in 2017. These people are also interested in global brands, and they're increasingly health conscious, especially right after COVID-19. Second group of people, Generation Z. I'm considered Generation Z, I think, and many of you guys are Generation Z. You guys and me, we account for around 12% of the national population, and we consume around 566 billion US dollars in 2018. These individuals value craftsmanship, design, niche, and local brands, and they also are more caring for the environment and going green. The third group of individuals, these are the most powerful at the moment, are millennials. They are at the peak of their personal and professional lives. They account for around 25% of the national population, and they spend around 2.6 trillion US dollars every single year. What I found interesting with all these 3 groups is that, number one, there's a rising spending and rising consumption in all these groups, and the consumption will continue to rise. Number 2, these groups are very interested in health, social impact, craftsmanship, local, and things, something like that. And the third one is that many of them are very globally minded, and they most likely have a higher education. So I thought to myself, that's really, really interesting. Number 1, very high potential. Number 2, rising consumer base. So I asked myself, who are the players at the moment, or 2 years back, who are the players? And I wasn't really surprised to find out that there are actually not that many players. There are many smaller players, but at that moment, the 2 biggest players I saw were Green Initiatives in Shanghai and the Blockhouse in Beijing. So Green Initiatives, they've been here for around 9 years, and they mainly focus on raising awareness about sustainability and zero waste living. The Blockhouse is more brand related. They have a lot of products in their repertoire, but they're only based in Beijing. So I saw this and it was very interesting because many of them are still very either low reach, either incomplete, or they have a complete array of products. So I look towards the most successful businesses in China, for example, Tencent, Alibaba, and Meituan, to find some inspiration of where should I position myself. And one of the most common things between all these 3 businesses, these are just screenshots of the apps on my phone, is that they all build ecosystems. And that is exactly what my dream is. I want Boomi to become the most extensive and complete ecosystem in China, where you can find all things sustainability related in mainland China. So we want to be as complete as possible and as high reaching as possible. So this was the third point I saw. The third point I saw was that there was low or limited competition. But of course, since we're in China, in any country really, we need to see the trends of the government. What are governments doing? What are the new policies? And the simple answer is that in China, the government is doing so many things. These are just some of the few that I can think of at the top of my head. Quarter 1 of 2018, they implemented a ban on the imports of waste, of 24 types of waste. Q1 2019, China bans amenities on hotels. Q1 2020, China bans fishing in Yangtze River. Q2 2019, China implemented waste separation, Lajifenlei. Q2 2020, President Xi implements the Clean Plate campaign. And the most interesting is actually by 2025, China promises to forbid all consumer single-use plastic. So government support, check. And the fifth point that I thought was very interesting is that if I were to dive myself into this industry, I could potentially be one of the first movers. So I will have a first mover advantage. Of course, these are all the things that I saw 2 years ago and also what I see in the future. But what are we doing today? What is Boomi doing on a day-to-day basis and how do we operate every single day? The number one question that I always get and we always discuss in the team is how do we balance between profit and sustainability? Since we're a social enterprise, which one should we focus in? And we always say, why not both? We say this because we believe that business growth and profitability should always come first, but never at the expense of the environment. What this means is that we will do anything in our power to grow our business as a for-profit business, but we will never do it in a harmful way. I think this is something that people need to get their minds around, that social enterprises can still be profitable. And this also goes along with zero waste living. We actually do not like the word zero waste. We are not really an advocate for the zero waste lifestyle, you know, like the ones that only have like one jar of waste. We actually prefer to advocate for incrementalism. We prefer to support millions of people to do zero waste imperfectly than rather having only a couple of people doing it imperfectly. And the other question we always get asked is, why is sustainable products so expensive? And my answer to that is you're marketing to the wrong people. Sustainable products are expensive because we just don't have the economies of scale to compete with regular items. So if you're a business, don't market your products to the masses. You have to market your product as if it's an expensive item, as if it's a luxury item. And that's exactly what we do here at Boomi. We never have discounts. We never do promos or anything like that. We always act as if we are a Hermes bag or an LV bag. That's how we position our products. One interesting thing we found a few months back, we did a survey of Chinese consumers, and we found out that 33.8% of Chinese consumers actually purchase sustainable items for status. What this means is that it brings status to the consumer, just like how luxury products can bring status to its consumers. So the golden question is, how do we raise consumers' status through sustainability? And if you have that answer, you can give me your CV and I will hire you. But of course, the final and last thing, Boomi, any business is nothing without its consumers and its community. We are a huge advocate for the individual. We really believe that the individual collectively can make a huge difference, whether it's yourself, your school, your community, one business, or even an entire city. We always think everyone can make a difference. And in 2019, we started our Boomi Forest Initiative, which is one of our initiatives to donate 8.8% of our total revenue to planting trees in Inner Mongolia. And I'm super proud of our community that we actually did plant an entire forest in February 2020. This is a picture of the forest. I can send you the link as well for the 720-degree view thing. And all the trees here that we planted were all because of our consumers. It was individuals as a collective that made a conscious decision to support Boomi, to support our products, that we are able to make such a lasting impact. So before I close my speech today, I would like to leave you guys with my favorite quote, and also the quote that's made me start Boomi, and also the quote that I live by every single day. The greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it. I truly believe it is time for us to do a change. It doesn't matter how big that change is, as long as you give it a try. Thank you.